Alright guys, so there's a few things I want to go over today, but first up, and kind of most importantly, I want to go over some stuff that's recently come out about Steve from Minecraft getting into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC. Actually, specifically some stuff that goes against Steve getting into Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. So I already went over this a little bit in my latest Leakly Updates video, but I want to highlight it again because a lot more has happened with it. So this tweet saying, "Happy 10th birthday to hashtag Minecraft. In celebration, we have decided to add Steve into Super hashtag Smash Bros. Ultimate." And then there's an image that says Steve digs in. So this was sort of a joke post, but then Aubrey Norris commented with a emoji that has a raised eyebrow. Now, last time I went over this, I briefly mentioned how Aubrey Norris does indeed work on Minecraft, but let's go into this a little deeper because more has come out with this. So Aubrey Norris's specific title is Senior Manager, Head of Community and Player Voice, in parentheses, Minecraft at Microsoft. So being a senior manager, that does give her a pretty high position as far as someone who works on Minecraft goes. Having someone who officially works on Minecraft with those kind of credentials actually respond to a joke post about Steve, especially with that raised eyebrow emoji face that kind of says like, "Really, Steve and Smash?" drew a lot of attention. So people went and looked at what Aubrey Norris had posted in the past. So people found a post by Aubrey Norris back on November 1st. So this would be right after the November Direct, right after we got the final base roster for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And she posted, "Minecraft Skelly in Smash, please." At DireWolf20 responded with, "Or at least Steve." And Aubrey Norris responded to that with, "Steve is just an empty shell of an avatar that goes away when people use their own skins. No way." So up until recently, that tweet had gone basically unnoticed, but now people have dug it up and we have a senior manager who works on Minecraft basically saying that Steve isn't a very good choice for Smash and it's just a blank avatar and all that stuff they said. It's kind of alarming, to be honest. So after that tweet got dug up, people were basically debating back and forth whether Aubrey Norris would even know if Steve was in Smash or not, and someone commented this. They said, "Aubrey is a nobody. If they put Steve in Smash, they have no reason to tell her. By your logic, when Nintendo adds a character to Smash, they tell to every single worker. If that were the case, then all of the fighters of Smash 6 will be leaked before the game is even announced." And Aubrey Norris commented back with 3 crying laughing faces, framing this and putting it on my wall. So once again, kind of like with the raised eyebrow emoji, there's a lot we can kind of read into with her comment back here. Basically, the way I'm taking it is that she's kind of laughing as if, yeah, I would know if Steve is in Smash or not. So then after that tweet, at MonkeyDLenny wrote this. They said, "If you're wondering why people are making a big deal out of Steve, it's because the fans wants banjo-kazooie and Smash Bros. As DLC. Minecraft is seen as their roadblock to getting in, and a handful of leakers say Steve is in. There's been a big back and forth between the two camps." And Aubrey Norris once again responds and says, "Oh, I know. Been watching it for a while." So Aubrey hasn't outright said, no, Steve is definitely not coming to Smash, and I really don't know if her position as senior manager in Minecraft, whatever exactly that position is, if that truly means she would be in the know about Steve coming to Smash or not, but it does seem like she's very open about talking about it, and it's a pretty controversial thing, something that I feel like someone who was, inside Minecraft in that way, officially involved, wouldn't talk about if Steve was happening. It'd be some sort of non-disclosure agreement, or possibly someone above you might have a non-disclosure agreement, so even if she didn't know for sure, I feel like she'd just be quiet about it. Not only that, but she's also basically outright shot down the idea of Steve as being a good idea. She's said, that whole thing about how Steve is basically just a blank avatar for the player to put their skins on. It just doesn't seem like the sort of thing that someone who works for Minecraft and would encourage the possibility of Steve getting in Smash would say. So there was a really excellent post over on Smashboards describing what exactly a senior manager might be involved with. So I'm going to read part of that to you guys. This is coming from @Moz. It says, "I decided to take a quick search up about the role of a senior manager. Numerous sites tell me the same thing. They're responsible for the overall operations and profitability of a company. Their goal is to maximize the organization's efficiency, productivity, and performance by making sure all operations are running smoothly. They are quite high in terms of company hierarchy. Although Aubrey is not on the Minecraft dev team per se, but the fact that she oversees everything Mojang does to ensure the company runs smoothly means that she would definitely be in the know about whether Steve is in Smash or not. Quite safe to say that the Steve tweets she made is an official deconfirmation of the character. Now, I don't know if I completely agree with this being an official deconfirmation of Steve being in Smash, but I do agree that a senior manager does sound like someone who would probably be under NDA, non-disclosure agreement, if Steve was coming to Smash. Even if she wasn't in the know about Steve being in Smash and wasn't like beholden to some non-disclosure agreement, she didn't like sign anything, I still feel like if there was even the possibility that Steve was coming to Smash, she wouldn't be talking the way she is on Twitter, that she would probably just be quiet about the whole thing because she'd at least have maybe ideas or whispers or heard something that maybe Steve is happening in Smash and that she probably shouldn't be shooting that down as a bad idea. So whether or not Aubrey Norris would be able to deconfirm if Steve's coming to Smash or what, we got another person from inside Minecraft coming out against Steve being in Smash. Over on Twitter, @DopaDream wrote, "Hey, I just asked for an official statement on Steve's inclusion in Smash, and someone on the Minecraft staff team said this." And then there's an image that says, "The raddest bro wrote, Steve ain't gonna Smash." @DopaDream goes on to write, "Yes, he actually works on Minecraft. He's in the official Minecraft Discord server under the Minecraft staff role." So all this is coming from the official Minecraft Discord server, and that is where the raddest bro is indeed a Minecraft staff member. So obviously that statement, Steve ain't gonna Smash, seems pretty definitive, seems basically like saying, no, Steve is not coming to Smash Brothers, and this is coming from someone who does indeed, work on Minecraft. However, looking into the raddest bro, unlike Aubrey Norris, who is a senior manager and has a pretty lofty position, the raddest bro actually has only recently been hired by Minecraft. So on March 25th of this year, @TheRaddestBro wrote on Twitter, "Yup, today I start as a full-time Mojang employee. Thanks everyone for all your support, and I hope I can do great things for this game and the community going forward." So it seems to me, being such a new employee, he probably would not know whether or not Steve was in Smash, but it is still kind of telling that he did just outright say Steve ain't gonna Smash. That's kind of strange. I'm surprised he'd say that instead of just not saying anything, no comment, or even just saying, I really don't know. So I'd actually finished recording and was in the middle of editing this video when the raddest bro wrote this. He says, "I do not actually know anything. I have heard literally nothing about this. The only reason I have heard this rumor is because you guys keep repeating it. So I just felt like I should add that to this video." I go on to continue to talk about the raddest bro alongside Aubrey Norris, so I wanted to still get that out there, but the raddest bro is now saying that they really don't know anything. So for me personally, I don't think I'm outright going to write Steve off just yet. However, I do think these were some pretty big hits against Steve. I'm wary to just straight up say he's deconfirmed. I feel like if it was some other character, I might be saying, yeah, both these things seem like this is basically it, this character is done. But because it's Steve, because Steve has the controversy that Steve does, because Steve has some pretty major leakers that have said in the past they think Minecraft is coming to Smash, and because honestly I kind of see Steve and Banjo as somewhat of rivals. I was hoping maybe both would get in as DLC, but they are kind of potentially rivals to one another, and because I do really like Banjo, there is a bit of bias on my own side in favor of Banjo, so I'm just wary of dismissing Steve based on anything other than someone really high up coming out and saying pretty concretely, pretty forwardly, just Steve is not going to appear in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, Steve is not the first big name Microsoft rep for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC to get something that seems to deconfirm them like this. Master Chief had Frank O'Connor write, "Master Chief is not is Smash DLC. Although I did just download Smash. Now I'm going to do what I always do. Button mash, do Street Fighter circle moves and jabs till one works. And then try to keep pushing to the right no matter what is happening or what characters are fighting." And then Game Informer tweeted, Cuphead's creator desperately wants to see the character included in Super Smash Bros. And is hoping fans can help pressure Nintendo to make it happen. So because that whole thing about Cuphead's creator wanting Cuphead in Smash being so recent, it's pretty safe to assume that Cuphead is likely not one of the mysterious DLC characters we don't know about yet, at least not for this Fighter Pass. If there's potentially Fighter Passes in the future, maybe a fan outcry could get Cuphead in, but because the creator wants fans to pressure Nintendo into hopefully getting Cuphead in Smash, that would make me safely assume that Cuphead is probably not one of the characters that has already been chosen. So with Steve joining the ranks of Master Chief and Cuphead among potential Microsoft reps that seem to have something stated publicly about them that may in fact deconfirm them for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, there is one big name Microsoft rep who doesn't have anything like that, and that character is Banjo-Kazooie. So back in April of 2015, someone asked, Nintendo is holding a poll for the next Super Smash Bros. DLC, and Banjo is a popular choice. It would mean so much if you could get him in. And Phil Spencer actually responded. He said, I think it would be cool if Banjo was in the next Super Smash Bros. DLC. We've worked with Nintendo on rare IP before, no issues. Now that was said back in 2015, but in 2018, on March 20th, someone asked, are you still willing to let Banjo and Kazooie appear in Smash Bros? And Phil Spencer responded with, yup. So having that said, in March 2018, it was always very up in the air whether or not that would break a non-disclosure agreement saying anything about Banjo in that time frame. But now that we've actually gotten Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Banjo was not part of the base game, and we're now all just kind of hoping he might be DLC, saying something back in March 2018 might have actually been okay. Another really interesting thing that happened with Banjo recently that I went over in one of my other videos, but I think it's important to go over it again as we still have no idea why this happened. Loot Crate recently was supposed to do a loot box that contained stuff from Fallout, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, and Banjo-Kazooie. They then switched it to just be Fallout, Mega Man, Sonic, and more. When Banjo-Kazooie was still part of that Loot Crate wrote this over on Twitter. They said, here's to hoping, a fingers crossed emoji, who else wants the bear and the bird in Smash? And then a picture of Wolverine from the old X-Men cartoon that says Smash fans, and he's holding a picture that says, hope Banjo-Kazooie will be DLC, and looking at it fondly. Now, after Banjo-Kazooie were mysteriously removed from the Loot Crate, that tweet was also deleted. So I don't know if Loot Crate would be at all in the know about Banjo-Kazooie being in Smash Brothers or not, but it's very interesting that we still don't know why they pulled Banjo-Kazooie from that Loot Crate and the fact that they deleted that tweet. It is, of course, possible they simply deleted the tweet because they didn't want to say anything about Banjo-Kazooie as that's been pulled from the Loot Crate, but deleting the tweet and especially pulling Banjo-Kazooie with no explanation is very, very interesting. I don't know what item was supposed to come in that Loot Crate that would have Banjo-Kazooie, but possibly it inferred something to do with Smash. Who knows? But yeah, it was pulled and we don't know why. Now, obviously, there is absolutely no guarantee we will get any kind of Microsoft rep for Smash DLC, but Banjo does seem to be the frontrunner at this point. I mean, all the other major Microsoft rep possibilities seem to have things going against them, whereas Banjo has just kind of gained more and more ground the more time has gone on. Even that whole data mine with rare spirits being in the game, or at least series having potential rare spirits in the game, they had Blast Core and Jet Force Gemini were found in the data of Smash, really points to something rare happening with Smash, and seeing as Banjo still seems to be standing totally fine at this point, I do suspect Banjo did extremely well on the Smash ballot. Banjo's always been a huge fan favorite choice for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, so I could see Nintendo holding him off for DLC, possibly revealing him at E3 alongside Microsoft. I just feel like there's a lot of Nintendo and Microsoft stuff going on lately. Really feels like that's probably what's going to happen to me. As crazy as that sounds, that seems to be what we're gearing up for. And while I don't take this Aubrey Norris stuff or the Radis Bro stuff to necessarily completely deconfirm Steve, they are hits against Steve, and I do think Steve is still possible for Smash, but if I had to say who's the frontrunner right now, it honestly is probably Banjo. Now, moving past all this Microsoft rep stuff, I just want to talk about something that Tansut said over on Reset Era. Now, Tansut is the person who leaked Cloud right before we got Cloud for Super Smash Bros. 4 DLC, so I think Tansut's probably the biggest leaker to look at as far as Square stuff in Smash goes, as Tansut is the only person with any kind of history of guessing something Square in Smash. So let's read what he said. So Tansut writes, I found out about Cloud in September of that year. I was told about him with the assurance I wouldn't leak it ahead of time. Trust me, I wish I could have spilled the beans. But aside from respecting this person's wishes, I also respected the fact that it would have spoiled a pretty amazing direct, and in the end it was totally worth it. That thread was nuts. I only started dabbling in being someone that talks like they know something when some leaks were going around a few days before the direct he was revealed, and basically I responded to a few posts debunking some Smash leaks because they didn't have Cloud on them. I said something to the effect that nobody would believe me if I revealed what I knew anyway, but I felt like I ought to debunk what I could at the time regardless. Then the day of the direct happens, and since that thread was going at a ridiculous clip, I decided to do a leak of Cloud in the guise of a Star Wars prediction. Luke, the blonde protagonist, with Cloud City as the stage. It wouldn't make any sense or give anything away beforehand, but a couple people picked up on it after the fact. After that, I found out when he would be released, so I leaked that as a weather forecast saying it would be cloudy on that date. I was technically off on that, but only because I was told the Japan time release date and didn't realize it at the time. Fast forward to ultimate hype, in early-ish fall, I think, I heard about a leak that a certain company, you can fill in the dots here, was not happy about, and I assumed it was an image leak. To this day, I'm not sure if it was a Smash leak or maybe a Final Fantasy leak that caused some internal memos to be sent. Just that they weren't happy about something that got out. The only other thing I ever found out beforehand was that the Grinch leak was most likely a fake, which I shared because I hated seeing people get hyped for something I was pretty sure wasn't going to go the way they hoped. I did not want to be right about that for what it's worth. This past December, I got confirmation about Erdrick, or at least that it's a Dragon Quest character as one of the DLC characters. I was never corrected when I used Erdrick as the name when talking to them, so I don't see a reason to assume it's someone else like Luminari. I got the feeling that I only found out then because they were at that point, still in a very early state. I was told to not expect anything like a reveal soon, so I wasn't totally shocked he wasn't at the last direct, especially since Joker was still barely shown and he's further along. When is he coming? Honestly, I don't know. Any date or time frame I give is pure speculation, and I try to leave that out as much as possible since it just muddies the water. So that's all I got. Well, other than apparently Cloud was a pricey fella to get into Smash. Let me know if anything is still confusing. Okay, so that was Tansut being extremely open about all the information they seem to have. As a Geno fan, obviously, I'd rather get Geno. There's some other Square characters I'd rather get than Erdrick, to be perfectly honest. Sora, Chrono. But yeah, I have to kind of concede that I do believe Erdrick, or at least a Dragon Quest rep, is most likely going to be one of our DLC characters, probably the next one to be shown. So if I had to put, a bet on the DLC characters right now, it's going to be Joker, then Erdrick, and then probably Banjo. I don't know about the last two. Obviously, that's just speculation on my part, but I have to kind of trust Tansut, as Tansut is the one person who has a history of correctly guessing a Square character in Smash, or predicting a Square character in Smash, leaking a Square character in Smash, whatever you want to call it. I guess technically Vergiben, if we do get a second Square rep, would then be right about that, but the person who actually has a history with doing so correctly is Tansut, so I have to go with what they've heard, which is Erdrick. So before I wrap this video up, just a few bits of other news. Over on Twitter, @Wario64 says, Best Buy has pulled the Persona 5 Switch, Metroid Prime Trilogy Switch, and Link to the Past Switch listings from their internal systems as of this morning. This was on April 4th. So whether or not that means that those games aren't real and they were pulled out of there because of that, or if they were leaked early and simply removed so more people don't find out about it, I don't know, but they're apparently no longer in the Best Buy employee system. So another interesting thing that happened is the Famitsu Awards happened in Japan, and Sakurai won MVP. During his speech, Sakurai actually said Joker is coming to Smash Bros. Ultimate very soon. PushDustin over on Twitter said, at the Famitsu Awards, Sakurai stated that Joker is coming soon. I believe he used the same phrase in the Nico Nico interview with Mewtwo, which was done around March 22nd. Mewtwo was released on April 15th for Club Nintendo players. PushDustin and SourceGaming did an excellent job covering the Famitsu Awards, so I'll post a link to that in the description below for this video. So PushDustin, referencing that time frame for Mewtwo, kind of gives us an idea of when Joker might be released or what Sakurai considers soon, but we knew that Joker was coming out at some point this month, so I don't think that necessarily means it's, it's tomorrow or even this week. It's probably still just some point in April. So in my last video, I was talking about how I don't think we're going to get a Nintendo Direct or maybe a Smash-focused mini Direct anytime too soon. I feel like it's going to happen after April 12th. I was saying that because version 2.0.2 of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has compatibility with the new Super Smash Bros. Amiibos, Daisy, Young Link, and Ken, which are going to be released on the 12th. So I feel like on April 12th, version 2.0.2 should still be the latest version of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Now, people pointed out to me that obviously that doesn't necessarily mean we can't hear about Joker's gameplay, we can't hear about 3.0, so we could get a direct before then and just have it release later than that, but I still kind of think that because they've hidden Joker's gameplay for this long, most likely once they show it, they'll probably release him immediately, so I'm still not expecting any kind of a direct or Smash Focus Direct, whatever it is, until after April 12th. We also recently heard about how Labo VR is going to be compatible with Super Mario Odyssey and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that compatibility is going to be updated on April 25th. This is the same date that supposedly P5S is getting more information, and since Best Buy kind of leaked that there's supposedly a Persona 5 coming for Switch, it's very possible P5S is indeed that Switch title, and since both those things happen on April 25th, and the 25th is a Thursday, which is a day that they often do for Nintendo Directs, I kind of feel like that might be when it's going to happen. That's just an assumption, just speculation. I really don't know that for sure, but because those two things are lining up on that date, yeah, I kind of feel like that might be when it is. The only strange thing about doing it on the 25th is that Reggie's last day as president of Nintendo of America is on April 15th. Of course, I've pointed this out before, he could simply record a direct of some kind and it could air, 10 days after he's stepped down. It doesn't necessarily have to happen before that final day, as obviously Nintendo Directs are recorded beforehand. But of course, that is all just speculation. I really have no idea when we might get a Nintendo Direct or Smash Focus Direct, or if we'll even necessarily get one this month. I just kind of suspect we will, and I'm thinking it's going to be a bit later in the month. Okay, so that was a lot of stuff I just covered, guys. I don't know if this deconfirms Steve. Like I said, I'm really wary of saying Steve is totally out of the running or anything like that, but I do think Banjo is most likely the front runner as far as potential Microsoft reps go. So if you guys have any comments on any of the stuff I just covered in that video, I'd love to hear it, so leave a comment below. So once again, thank you guys for all the subscribes, all the likes. It really helps out the channel. So if you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do so, or like the video, or leave a comment, whatever you want. Until next time, have a good one.